You're watching The Whole Living Show on Trajectory TV.
Operate out of your dreams and your vision and not other people's expectation. Having breast cancer wasn't my choice, but the decision to live healthy so that I could stand before you here today, that's choice. You can choose this very moment to change your life from every perspective.
Tracy Randolph was our speaker. She came back because so many people liked her first presentation. I was one of those people that joined her fitness group, and it made me a better leader.
I grew up in a community, but they had limiting beliefs on what a little black girl could do. Everything that you do in this life is a choice. I choose to live healthy. I choose to change my mindset. I choose to be everything that I dreamed of because I choose faith and I choose me. Live healthy, be everything that you can be today. Choose yourself. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Whole Living Show. And tonight we have a crossover event. That's right. We do it like mainstream television. We've got the crossover between FEM Talk and The Whole Living Show. So get ready. But before we bring in the wonderful team of FEM Talk, I just wanted to talk to you about the fact that Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, has done something right. Y'all, he did something right. In my book, he has banned lab meat, lab-grown, lab-derived meat from Florida, from the state of Florida. That means the entire state is not allowed to use in their restaurants, to sell in their grocery stores, lab-grown meat. So we're going to give a hand clap for Ron DeSantis for getting something right. In 2025, the top of 2025, he has now banned this meat. And I'm super excited about that. I hope that this starts to span across the country. I hope with this new administration, with Trump and with Kennedy as, don't let me get his title wrong, but he will be focused on healthcare. I hope that they start banning some of the things that are in our food or how our food is made that is killing Americans, right? That is making us sick, that is contributing to all of the illness and the necessity for healthcare and medicine, and stop promoting all of these bad ingredients, right? We know at the end of 2024, as I reported last week, they banned red dye number 3 from all the food products. The FDA has banned that. So now Ron DeSantis is doing this in Florida. I hope that this is going to be a trend. I hope that they start to do this. I hope that they start focusing on, farming and just wellness for people and real whole food. So more to come on that. I always report it here because I love when things like this happen. So I'm really proud of him for doing that. Amidst all the other things that have happened with him, he has gotten something right. All right, so we are going to bring in the wonderful team of FEM Talk. We are talking about championing your health. We started off last night with FEM Talk, and we're going to continue that conversation right here. So let's do it. We've got Nick Simmons. Hello. Now, most of you don't really see Nick Simmons on FEM Talk because he's usually behind the scenes, making sure that we get everything right. He's the one who keeps us in line.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's funny. It's my new nickname. It's Producer Nick.
exactly.
So it was my name on fantasy this year. But sometimes you got to go in front of the camera and have a conversation.
Exactly, absolutely. And I know you have a lot to say about this, especially as
Mm-hmm.
I know you have been making changes in your own wellness at the end of 2024 and now the top of 2025. And we've got
Yep.
the wonderful Shima She Talks.
Hey, whole living. Hey, producer
Hello.
Yes, it's good to see Nick front and center here. I love it. Absolutely
Nick.
love it. So, yesterday we were talking about all things health and wellness, right? And we
Yeah.
started talking about just, what it takes. Like, what does it really mean to take care of yourself? And we started giving some tips there. I wanted to know, if you guys had a top 5 in terms of how to take care of yourself, what would be your top 5?
Top 5.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, but it takes a
I can
lot more
think
than
of.
that. So, what's your top
I
5?
think we can do as a tag team because I know my first one
Yeah.
right away.
Uh-huh.
It's getting your mind right.
Yeah.
I think, and I think we even talked about it yesterday on FEM
Mhm.
Talk. When the ladies were talking, we talked about culture and society and
Mhm.
what you grew up in and all these impacts of it. And it messes up how you think things through.
Yeah.
So making that first step in your mind and getting that clarity and that understanding of how you want to live and where you want to live is my first step. I've
Absolutely.
attempted to be healthy multiple times, but I was never mentally in it.
Yeah.
This year I made a change to mentally, or last year I made a change to mentally be in it, and I felt the process. Probably the other 4 steps I'm going to think of, I felt them come in.
Yeah.
I,
And
I
it's
felt those be easier to operate in.
yeah, and so key, right? So key. That needs to be the first one for
Mhm.
everybody, right? Because if you don't change your mind around
Mhm.
living healthy, you won't be able to change your habits, right? It won't be sustainable, right?
Right.
You won't be able to be consistent or disciplined because your mind is not in a place where it can accept that the changes actually need to happen. So I
Right.
love that you said that. What about you, Shima?
I have to piggyback on that. I'm gonna give a separate one, but you got to think about how you think about everything:
Hmm.
food, how you interact with people, what your relationship is with food, exercise, people, how you handle stress. So I'm so with you on that, Nick, about getting your mind right, because that should be the very first thing you do. I'm gonna go with a real easy one for me, but it's so hard for so many people. You got to get your water in. You need to
Mm,
drink water.
Yeah.
mm.
I've heard a man say he is
Whoops.
absolutely allergic to water,
Mm.
and I don't. And
Me
everything that I
too.
have researched or read or asked every doctor, I do not see a
Mhm.
correlation where drinking water would make you sick. But
Are we made of water?
he stands.
Yes.
This man stands firm on it,
Yes,
and
over
I do.
70% of
We
our bodies
argue
are
about
made
it
of
all the
water.
time.
So, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I have that
That don't make
discussion all
sense.
the time.
Right.
He's like, "No, I never drink water. I drink," and he drinks soda constantly. Like you don't even drink an alternative to something healthy or sustainable like water. No,
Mm-mm.
he
And,
doesn't.
I would
So,
challenge
The way
that
I would be
maybe
getting
he
a
had,
headache,
yeah.
what'd you
I would
say?
live with a head. The way I would be living with a headache,
Right.
no.
Right.
Right. I would challenge too that maybe, maybe it was a particular brand of water. Maybe there's something in a particular brand that he was drinking that
I don't know.
potentially, I don't know. I'm just saying it just doesn't sound right. Right.
It sounds
Mm.
Water, purely water.
bananas to me.
Yeah.
But I think that's the easiest thing we can make as a change and the
Mm-hmm.
hardest thing for people to do.
Listen, there was a report out though, so not far fetched though, right? For him maybe to say that only because it could be something in the bottles. It's probably not the water
Right.
itself. It could be
Or
something in the bottles. They've been
right.
reporting now about the plastic bottles and how
Absolutely.
the plastic seeps into the water and how it's harmful for our bodies. And so
Hmm.
now we
Mm.
have to consider, and most water is packaged in a plastic bottle, right?
And I
The
think
majority.
about if he's getting it from the faucet and is there fluoride or chlorophyll
Yeah,
or anything, any of those things. So
yeah.
What is
I would
where are you getting where's the source?
Where is the source?
exactly. But
Absolutely.
barring anybody who's allergic to water,
Drink it.
disclaimer,
Right.
um, Get your water in.
Keep it by your side. I've got my wonderful Contigo cup here, and it always has water in it.
You said it. I looked around. I go, I have
Right.
no bottle next to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know the last time I had some water today.
During
I think
the
I was
break,
at
make
work.
sure you go get your water.
I'm gonna get it. Y'all gonna see me drink some water today.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna name another one.
Okay.
Only because this is definitely where I lack when it comes to my health and wellness. And even as a health coach, there are areas in my health and wellness where I lack, and that is sleep. Sleep is super, super essential also for helping to refresh your body, to restore your body, for your organs to get the rest that it needs, right? For them to be able to operate for you the next day, right? And there is a way for you to sleep, right? There's that circadian rhythm, if you've never heard of it, right? It's our correlation with the moon and the earth and how we're supposed to go to bed. But sleep is definitely one of those things that I definitely in 2025 need to improve upon.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's a hard one because when you think about your mind and getting your mind right, that's part of getting your mind right too. When you can shut this down, you can shut this beautiful organ down in order to be able to rest.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
See, no, I value my sleep too much. That's one I prioritize. And the older I'm getting, the more I value it. So the other day, I knew it was the weekend. I factored in a nap in the middle of my day just because. But I make this joke. I like to be in bed before 10 o'clock now. And if I don't get my full 8 hours of sleep, I'm cranky. And I know it. I need 8 hours no matter what.
I can't get it.
I know me either.
I think I'm still a child because I fight it. I'm on the side of the bed, nodding out like, okay, put the book down, put the computer away, go to bed.
One thing that helped me, and I do share this with everyone, is on your iPhone, if you have one, set up the sleep setting on your phone. Because what it does for me, and I play around with the settings, my phone dims, so the brightness automatically goes down and 45 minutes before my bedtime. And my bedtime is set to give me 8.5 hours of sleep every night. So 45 minutes before that time, my phone turns off, notifications are automatically silenced. I put on dark mode so my phone's not as bright. And so I start limiting the things that keep me up. And it's it kind of forces me I really don't want to be on my phone. I don't like dark mode. So when it's dark, I'm I really don't want to be on it. So it's helping encouraging my mind. It's like playing a game, like a little placebo effect. Your phone's on sleep. You need to start getting ready. My phone tells me it's almost time for you to wind down and get ready for bed. And so I start the process. Okay, let me actually wind down.
Yeah, I love that. And I haven't done that with the phone, even though the phone is not my curse. I don't really spend a whole lot of time on my phone, nor do I have to before I go to bed. But I like the fact that it'll just trigger something else, right? To say, it's time to go to bed. So I love that you did that. I probably need to do that for the television too. Because
I put sleep timers on my TVs. Sometimes I have it on to go to sleep, but I make sure, okay, it's only 30 minutes because I'm going to be asleep before the TV turns off. I know it.
Because TV is like company to me. Even if I'm not watching anything, it's just the noise to have, to hear someone speaking on the television.
Yeah, I don't need it to be quiet now.
Yeah, exactly.
My TV time to go off is 1 o'clock in the morning. And then if I'm still awake doing stuff, I'm mad. How dare the TV go off?
Did you clap? Did you just clap your TV on?
Yes. What do you mean? How dare you go off? So yeah, that's a horrible, horrible habit for me.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
But I think this conversation was helping. I got my second one. I think it's accountability. Finding and you can do it in so many different ways. Do you need a coach to help encourage you and push you to help you learn what you're doing? Or is it someone who is your friend who you're working out with together, you're being healthy with together, you're on the same eating lifestyle together? It's finding that someone who's going to keep you encouraged, hold you accountable. But I think in that accountability is / grace. And I learned that from you, Tracy. It was give yourself grace. If you don't meet the mark every day, it's okay. And that helped me because I think there's this stigma, if I live healthy, I have to be healthy all the time. And the moment you don't do something healthy, now you're beating
There's
yourself
guilt.
up. And now there's this guilt, or I failed, and this feeling of, it's that, I'll bring it back, that victim aspect that we talked about last night.
Yeah.
That sometimes comes back on people. So having someone who's going to hold you accountable and keep pushing you, but also help experience grace and put grace on yourself if you need it in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what, too, what I found as I started the healthy journey, it's like, acknowledge that whatever that, falter was, it was something that I actually wanted. So, give yourself grace to say, you know what, I wanted it, I ate it, whatever it is, or I didn't exercise because I didn't want to today.
Mhm.
And it's
I wanted
okay.
to
As
sleep.
long as exactly, as long as in the next hour or day, I just reset. Like, okay, it's okay. That one instance is not going to push me back so far. It's when you allow it to become a ripple effect, right?
Right.
And you allow it to take you down, and you start to go back into all of the bad habits versus, I did this one thing and it's okay. I'm giving myself grace for it because I wanted it. Like, acknowledge it, admit it to yourself, and say, now, I'm resetting and I'm going to start over.
Yeah.
And not really that you're even starting over. It's just, I'm just going to continue what I decided to do.
I think my crutch is I will falter in that manner. And then because I've done it, I'm like, well, let's just eat what you like for right now and then stop this day. Oh, you had a burger? Okay, so you can have pizza tomorrow. You might have wings tomorrow.
And then we go reset on
Let's
Monday.
end it. Right. So Monday, you're going to start all over. And no.
Yeah.
It is such, and it goes right back to mindset. That's not you. Who are you cheating? That's the question.
Yeah.
Why you call it a cheat day? Who are you cheating?
Yeah.
It doesn't affect anybody else but yourself. So you got to be honest with yourself about what you want to see, how you want to look, how you want to feel. Is it in your control? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all choices, honestly. I know we talk about so many things in life and how to be healthy in your mind, in your body, in your spirit. They're all choices.
Yeah.
So you got to choose, those right things that make you healthy. I think one of the things that really popped in my head was self-care. When you first asked the question, that is the very first thing that popped in my head. And then maybe all encompassing with working out, eating right, getting sleep. It may be all of that, but I feel like it is a focus on the whole you. So you got to do bits and pieces of all of it so that you're whole. So
And that's one good thing to bring up. I did want to say before I bring that part up, my motto, right, when it comes to giving myself grace is, like, for most things, I don't keep them in my house. If it's not something that serves me well, or if it's not something that's really a part of my plan, I won't have it in my house. So in order for me to indulge, I have to go out and get it. That's not something that I'm going to do all the time. It will be something that I do at that moment that I want that one thing. But once that's over, I don't have access to it all the time to be able to do it. So another good way to say, you know what, well, I have to go out and get this. It's not going to be something that I'm going to continue because it's not available to me.
It's not in here. That's right.
Yeah. But I wanted to say, when you started talking about the self-care piece and, kind of that holistic approach, sometimes I think people, because, people, when they talk about health and wellness, they think food and exercise before anything else, right? But it really does take a mind, body, spirit approach in order to really live healthy. Nothing can be done in a silo. The same way our body kind of operates it's all together, right? Everything kind of operates all together. Same thing that we need to do for our emotional wellness, our mental wellness, our spiritual wellness, our physical wellness. We got to think about all of it because one touches the other. And when you're lacking in one area, it starts to spill over into the other.
Absolutely.
On the other side in some way. So talk about how you protect your mental space.
I shut off my phone. I'm quick to do it. My friends and family know I'm the first person to turn off my phone. And if I need a reset, I will spend a day completely in a silo. And I know that about my personality. I know I fluctuate. Like I have some mental, like I've had mental things go on where I know I can't always control it. So what it did for me, where I realized if I'm at my breaking point, where I know, I call it my spiral. If I know I'm about a spiral, and if I can save myself, I will. And the way I save myself is turn off for a second. Now,
Right.
it's not detrimental where I'm hiding, I'm running away, I'm doing something. No, I'll call my mom, hey, I need a day. I'll call you tomorrow. I'm gonna be in the house.
That's right.
And I'll be in the house. I'll turn my phone off. I'll find a show. I'll find a movie. And it's probably something I watched already. It's probably something I've seen before because I'll sleep through it. But I make sure, because I know that's the only way I recharge, is I need to, like, I go mute when I go home. I don't really like talking a lot. It's time where I get to be with myself. I can, if I'm in the mood, I'll journal. I'll sing, I'll clean, and I'll like act like I'll clean and blast music in my house and clean all day. But
Right.
whatever just allows me to feel like I'm just in my own space by myself, uninterrupted, I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I see. Those of you who don't know, Nick and I are very similar. Very, very similar. And I find that the easiest way for me to disconnect is to disconnect. If it's a discussion that I don't want to have anymore, I am quick. My quick fix or my band-aid is okay, because I need to quiet my mouth and my mind so they can become one, so I can get on one accord. Because I think intensely, I feel intensely, I love, I argue intensely. So when I'm done, I learned early that I'm still riled up and people are going on with their life, or the situation is over, or the whatever happened that riled me up or made me tired or exhausted, it's done. And I'm still spiraling, like Nick said. So it's times that I don't want to talk. I don't say anything. My mom still doesn't get it, and she's known me my entire life. But sometimes I just don't want to say anything. And depending on what you do and where you are in life and what your day-to-day things are, if you're on all day long, sometimes you just don't want to be on.
Yeah.
So you got to be quiet, or you got to go to that space, or sleep. When I really feel like the day is really going in, and I need a reset, and my bestie will tell you the reset for me most of the time is, okay, I'm going to sleep. See if I can do this better tomorrow. Today wasn't
I love it.
going the
Yeah.
way I wanted. So if I go to sleep and I wake up rejuvenated, I'm gonna come with a different mindset.
Yeah. And this goes back to what we were talking about yesterday too, right? This is a part of knowing yourself and knowing how you operate and knowing what you need, right? And you have to be able to create what people like to say boundaries, right? You have to be able to create those boundaries. The one thing that I'm really good at is, like what you mentioned, is I am that person that can move on. Because here's the thing, right? I know that I'm going to operate with the best of intentions. So if you don't understand that, and we've had a conversation, and it doesn't, any situation, right? It could be relationships, it could be work, whatever that is. Once I've communicated truthfully, authentically, right? Then it's like I can do this because I know that my intentions were always good. So I'm really good at creating boundaries, right? And being able to know, and then being able to move on from it. And I'm still always going to go back to that person with the utmost respect and love and kindness, right? Because to me, unless you killed somebody, you did something really detrimental, it's not really that serious, right? It really isn't. But I love that you guys create space for yourself where you unwind and you just untapped, right? And say, you know what? Nobody has exposure to me right now because this is what I need.
But like it's so tied into the first part of where we talked about like getting your mind right, because you have to know yourself to be able to set those. Like for me, it is a boundary. It is if I need to be left alone, and if I explain it to you, I need a moment. I need a moment. Like me and my mom had this running joke for a while. My biggest thing is, don't start my day off without saying good morning.
Mhm.
Like, do not walk into a room, call me first thing in the morning, don't send me a text, and not start with a good morning.
Mhm.
Don't just start telling me because I'm not going to respond well. You didn't figure out. We need to see each other on the right place.
Right.
And if we're not there, we need to reset before you do that.
Yeah.
And then my roommate did that one time about rent. Text me first thing in the morning, asking for money. Don't you ever in your life text me about money. I lost my mind that day. And I explained it after. It's like, I know who I am. I want to. If this is supposed to be a safe place, no matter what it is, if you need support, you need help, or we just want to conversate, let's start a conversation. Let's do it right. But understanding who you are is going to benefit you in the long run.
Yeah.
And all these, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
You can't be healthy.
Right.
Like, and I think we say healthy and we're thinking off rip food and like physically.
Mm-hmm.
When I started my journey of being healthy, one of the first things that, I was eating different and everything, but the clarity I had in my mind immediately after I made that switch was different. The spiritual connection I had with God and what I believe in my relationship, I felt that strengthen immediately because all these work in tandem of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And people forget that. And that's why people could be in the gym every day, but they're still upset. You're still depressed. You're still struggling. You're dealing with all these ailments still because there's another probably area where you're really unhealthy. Yeah, you may be eating right, and you may be in the gym, but spiritually you're not healthy. Mentally, you're not healthy. And that is going to socially, you're not healthy. That's another one that gets people. And if that happens and you don't have the capacity to take a second and think about it, you're going to struggle in that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think what people miss too, and this is going back to the very first one always, right? The mindset. I think what people really miss too is the power. Shima was talking about choice, but the power is here. It's internal. So your power to make those changes in all those areas that Nick just mentioned, it's all within you. You have the power to do that. And nobody else can do it for you. So once you really start to tap into that, then you realize, okay, I can live a healthy lifestyle in all these areas of my being, right? I'm going to say it that way, in all these areas of my being, because I know that the power rests with me and not anybody else. So I wanted to ask you guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but think about this over the course of the break. I want you to think about, what are you consuming? And I want you to define what consuming means for you too, but what are you consuming and how is it impacting your health? We're going to take we're going to take a quick commercial break, everybody. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here and we'll be right back. And we are back, and this is the crossover event with the team of FEM Talk. So we're going to bring them back in. We've got Nick Simmons, producer Nick, and
Hello.
Shima Shishi Talks.
Crossover.
Hello. Before we broke, we're talking again tonight about championing your health. And before we broke, I asked the question of, what are you consuming and how is it impacting your health?
I'm gonna go with the non-obvious
Yeah.
because I know what I'm consuming that's not helping my health right now. Y'all know because y'all see it happening. So with I guess the things the intangible. I think I am consuming thoughts that are kind of deterring the healthy choices that I've established lately, I'll say. And for me right now, that is probably just a whole lot of, uh, I don't want to say back talk, but it's just those voices that you hear when you're by yourself.
You got Louis on your shoulder.
It's Louis. I ain't want to say Louis because Louis is your guy.
He is my guy. So I have to give Nick a little summary of Louis. So Louis from Taxi, the TV show Taxi, you know how very negative he was. So that's what I call my little altar. Louis on my shoulder. He's my bad
little
angel.
someone on your shoulder.
He's the little devil on my shoulder. That's Louis
right
from Taxi.
in your ear, saying all kind of stuff. The stuff that you probably would never say to anybody else, but it's being said to you. So I think that I have been consuming that for a bit. I'll say for a couple months, and most recently, also a couple months. For me is grief. I'm consuming thoughts about losing people, and I think it is derailing my focus for the healthy things, though the healthy habits that I created beginning of 2024 all the way through to fall of 2024. I think that's where the fall off has been. And I can say consumed because it's overtaking. Even though I know I shouldn't, even though I know it's not healthy, sometimes it is, I don't want to say out of my control. Sometimes I succumb to it because it seems like it is easier, or I just don't have the fight.
But here's where that grace comes in, right? Very, very serious, right? Because it's grief, right? And it can be consuming, right? So that's where you have to give yourself grace, and you have to start taking little chunks in your wellness, right? And that starts with, protecting your emotional being first, right? You got to give yourself grace through that period, because it's hard and it hurts, and you just have to recognize it for what it really is, and not beat yourself up over, oh, I couldn't, and I know you said out of control, but sometimes it feels that way, even though it isn't technically, but it feels that way. And it's, grief is a part of a feeling, and it's emotions, but it's over a loss, right? And it hurts so much. So you have to give yourself grace through that period, and you start taking little steps. Just take the little steps, and one thing that I tell people all the time when I coach people is you have to celebrate the wins. I was even talking to my son about that the other day when it comes to schooling, because he just finished this online program with school. But I'm like, you got to celebrate the wins. No matter how big or small they seem to you, celebrate it. Do something for yourself that allows you to celebrate. So in this period of grief, I would say to you, tomorrow, right? Let's just start with tomorrow. Do something in the small pieces, right? Whatever that is for you, be it something physical, something emotional, something mental, right? Do something for yourself tomorrow that promotes health while you are going through the grief, right? But then celebrate it, and celebrate it with something that is meaningful to you. I like to celebrate with music because I love music, right? Music. So do something, right, that allows you to feel good and celebrate yourself for just that one win.
I have to say that, we know those things. Like I said, you do know them. Sometimes you just falter when it comes to reminding yourself or giving yourself the affirmations that you should. But one of the things that I have to say my niece said to me during that time of grief when I lost my dog, she said, Auntie, maybe you should go walk in the morning anyway. Because I woke up thinking, I gotta walk my dog, and of course there wasn't a reason to. She's like, maybe you should go anyway. I was like, okay,
Wow.
I just needed that.
Yeah.
And I know that. See, that's the thing
Yeah.
about these healthy habits or habits, period. We
Yeah.
know them, a lot of them. It's the application part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the accountability and
That's
support
the
that Nick was
accountability.
talking about earlier, right? You just needed somebody to
To
say that
hear
to
it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely. What about you, Nick?
It's crazy because you saying that, I was struggling with that. I was like, I'm not really sure. And then when you started sharing, and it literally unlocked something. And Tracy, you gave me the answer too. So I feel a lot better about maybe tomorrow.
Amen.
But it's for me right now, I think I'm consuming the most is stress. And right now I'm in a position at work where a lot of people and things are coming to me. And today I literally left work because I was about to explode.
Mhm.
And I knew I was getting over stressed out. I am very direct. I'll address what needs to be addressed. I'm not afraid of addressing a moment in a situation when needed to and finding a solution and moving on. But it got to a point where I'm taking it from so many different angles and people. And I felt like today I was on a ship. I was on a ship. I was leading a ship for someone else. I'm not the captain, but I was in their spot and I felt alone. And it became so overwhelming that I just had to leave. And I know I know that feeling all too well, where I'm being consumed by my work, where I'm not happy, or I am coming home and like I need a drink just so I can say, oh, I need to get through today, or I need to, or I can't think straight, or I don't want to go through with my plans that I made with people, or it's like I see the spin, I see the negative spin from it, and I caught it. I've been knowing I was getting to this moment, so I've been trying to catch it. Okay, cool. I put my phone down early this week. I'm starting to read this book called "I'm Judging You," by Louvi. What's her name? Louvia J. And that book it's what I got from it is give yourself grace in the moment. I was talking to my mom about work today, and that's my boss. I work for my mom. So, and I'm leading this project, but she comes always is there as that support. And she came in and she goes, see, and you're right. They are attacking you a little bit, but we're going to handle this right now. So there was a meeting I was supposed to be on that. She was like, I think you're going to take the night off and I'm going to handle that for you because you're right. And that goes back to the accountability, because I was able to share with someone and she was like, well, no, I got you. You are doing work. You shouldn't be taking in all of this. And then she was like, well, didn't you just say you accomplished this and you got this done and this and this? She was like, you're focusing on something that you don't really even need to be, when what you're supposed to be doing, you're excelling at. You're struggling because you're trying to step in and help other people because they're failing still.
Yeah.
And so it's when you're consumed by something so negative, where do you go to find the positive to neutralize that?
Yeah.
And do you have that in your corner? Do you have that person, or do you have that place? Do you have that activity that can bring you out of that negative consumption, that can bring you out of that? For me, like I said earlier, I call it that spiral. Is there something that can take me out of it? Is there a person? Is there a place? Or is there a thing that helps me be better?
And I'm going to challenge the both of you too, right? To say, how do I tap into that for myself even, right? How do I, put the brakes on, right? For the people who are trying to challenge me, how do I put those brakes on and say, you know what, let me go back and recognize exactly what your mom just did for you. Didn't you do this? Didn't you do this? Didn't you do this today? Sometimes you got to stop and do that for yourself. Well, I have accomplished X, Y, and Z today. I did damn good. You say that like Niecy Nash and her speech, right? Like you did that.
That's why I enjoy journaling so much.
Yeah.
And I am the first person to say I enjoy it so much, but I am not consistent whatsoever.
Yeah.
But in a moment, in these moments, I do find myself like, okay, I don't want to watch TV because like it's not the distraction I want. I find myself lost. I go, let me journal, to the point where I kept on forgetting it. If you have it on your iPhone, they have this new journaling app, and I get a notification at 7:00 every day, and it's on my phone. So sometimes it goes, talk about your day at da 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 address, and that's my work address. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should. So sometimes I get that reminder from my phone. Take a second and journal, appreciate this moment, or find something. And what I stopped myself from doing was being negative in my journal. I used to, it's like, oh, well, if I feel upset or if I'm upset with myself or something, I used to, let me get all my emotions out. But I learned my journal was my place for me to heal, not for me to wallow in my hurt.
Yeah. And I would
So I
even
had to
say
change
too,
myself.
because you use your phone a lot, right? If you are in moments where you can't scribe, do a voice message to yourself, right? And journal it there, right? Just to get it out, right? So maybe there's some moments where you can't sit down and scribe.
Yeah, it's the release. I think that's where, if I've realized in talking about this consumption aspect and how much it does impact my health. I feel sicker on these days. My head, I get chronic migraines on days like this. I feel the ailments come. And so finding the release that's going to benefit me is so important.
And it's that's so key though. So key that you're identifying the physical aspects that come from the emotional, right, challenges that you endure throughout the day, because it comes. And sometimes people think, oh, I just have migraines. No, what else is happening? Right. I love that you identified that right there, to be able to say, you know what?
That was the first thing, because I had them growing up. My
Yeah.
doctor told me very early, figure out what your triggers were. And of course, everyone did it's high sodium, it's this, it's that. And yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I know my migraines are always the worst, on a bad stress day.
Yeah.
I can tell you the moment something stressed me out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a headache. I'm gonna have to deal with this.
Yeah.
It depends where you're holding stuff and how you hold stuff.
Yeah.
Up here, I overthink
things, right?
In your head,
You don't say them, so they're staying in there. You don't feel them, or you don't expel them, or you don't cry. Let's be honest. A lot of people won't. I am a person who apologizes for crying because I cry so much, but I run into people who do not cry, who will not cry as a way of release, and I don't get it.
It's the best
release.
It's the best release. Yeah.
That's the cancer in me. I love a good cry.
Crying and laughing.
But now I will say to you,
every day,
I was a person who did not cry before.
I
was, and Shima can attest to this, right? I was so like straight laced, gotta get this career, blah, 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 blah. I gotta be hard, I gotta be this, I gotta be that, right? After I had my son, right? That was the first time that I started releasing, because I was like, wow, I couldn't imagine loving someone so much, right? And then after cancer, right? Like it was like God he needed to wake me up. Now
Tracy,
right.
But I think the key thing for the first one you said, you were releasing and you had that experience of crying because you loved something so much.
Yeah.
This connotation that, oh, you have to be sad to cry.
Yeah.
I laugh and cry. I'm mad and I cry. I'm stressed and I cry. I cry. And like I said, I'm an emotional cancer. I own it. I enjoy it. I cry at everything.
No, but switch
a good commercial can get me to cry.
Yeah, absolutely. But don't even, I want you to switch that word, Nick. You're not an emotional cancer, right? You're an emotional joy. Like switch that all around. You know what I mean?
I am.
Absolutely.
I will cry for everything, and it will make me feel better, and I almost get clear. I feel like I need to do it every day. I know I laugh every day. Now, while you were talking, that's what I was saying. If you're not a person who laughs daily, you have no idea what it heals in your body.
Yeah.
I
And
have to,
scientifically, this is scientifically proven
yes.
too. It's not just hearsay, right? This is not
And
just
I'm not
talk.
talking about cute little, like,
Mhm.
that's
It's the isn't
that's
it
cute.
endorphins? Like there's a
It's the
medical
endorphins. Yeah, you
a chemical
release.
It
response
does.
literally happens in
Yes,
your body.
Does.
absolutely
It's
does.
the chemical orgasm.
Yeah,
Y'all want to get real? That's
yeah,
exactly what it is.
it is.
It's a
And I want to flip
chemical
this.
orgasm.
I want to flip this on its head a bit because you two both mentioned things that were challenging.
Mhm.
I want to say for me, because I'm coming out of a challenging situation. So now the joy is coming in. I'm consuming peace,
Mhm.
like so much peace now. And in a place where I was in a place where I didn't necessarily at first realize that this thing was stripping me of my peace,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
And I was going through it, right? Because sometimes when you're taught to be tough, right? And I'm putting on my quotes, when you're taught to be tough, you don't really necessarily realize when things are trying to strip you of
Right.
certain things
Yep.
until you get further along, and then you're like, wait a minute,
Right.
this is robbing me. So now I'm in this period of peace, intentionally consuming
Right. Right.
in this period, right? So I wanted to flip that on its head a little bit because I want you guys to think about in these moments where you're being challenged with the grief and the stress, how can you turn that on its head? And easier said than done, of course, right? Because, like I said, I'm coming out of a period of, but how do you change that around to start to consume something that kind of flips the switch for you emotionally, mentally, physically?
I know what it is for me. I know what I'll say I know what the next phase is because I've been praying on it and I've been thinking heavy about it. So I know the next thing I want to be consumed by is love. I'm ready to be in a relationship and give love and experience that.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna need Nick to get out my head.
I love it.
I'm just gonna get real close to the camera and say that. Producer Nick, I'm gonna need you to get out of my head.
I'm glad we're so aligned for it because I keep on looking at she. I think she must sees it in my face every day when something's happening or I'm talking to her. So I am glad that someone sees it and is there with me because I put it off. It goes back to number one, right? Mental. I put it off for so long. Oh, I'm not ready for this because of this, or I don't want to be in a relationship, or oh, this person hurt me. And I'll be real honest. In the last couple of months, I went back a couple steps. I spun the block a little bit. And everyone tells me, once you don't spin the block. And I think I learned my lesson, but I did. And it hurt me again. And I'm one of those people, I don't talk about anything until you catch me crying. So I remember calling my mom first thing on a Sunday morning. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm crying about someone. And I go, I know you know nothing about this person. You don't even know their name. I'm just going to tell you everything real quick. Right. Download the story. And she goes, well, it sounds like you're just wasting your time. You know what you want, but you know this isn't going to provide you with what you want.
Ooh, that sounds like Dr.
And there's this book. It's called The Mountain Is You, and I don't know the author.
Someone has recommended that book to me before.
You got to read this book because it talks about these situations, particularly in relationships, right? Where you get into these relationships, and no matter what you do, this is what the author says, like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. And no matter what you do, you will always come back to the place where you realize that this is not for you because divinely, right? It's just not for you.
How many times can you say, I've experienced this exact moment with the exact same person?
Yeah. Right.
This is the 4th time.
Yeah.
Maybe we should all grow up and go our separate ways. Because I finally said that. And I think this was the first time that I had this together enough to say it and believe it and mean it and apply it. So now I know, cool, I opened that door again and I'm ready for everything that I was willing to suffer for. I know I'm in a place to genuinely receive it and then give it as well.
Okay, so now I want you to celebrate that. The fact that you can tell yourself that, the fact that you're praying on it, the fact that you recognize it and you've come out of that space where you are accepting what is not good for you.
Right.
Celebrate that. Do something tomorrow, Nick, to
Mhm.
celebrate that, because that's huge.
No, man.
Huge.
Yeah, I can celebrate me. That's easy. But no, I receive that heavily because you don't. Someone, I'm at a place where I still need to be reminded to celebrate, to stop and celebrate it. I can set intentions, I can set goals, but sometimes I set the far goal and I don't look at all the checkpoints along the way that are helping me get closer. And those are things worth celebrating. So it's good to have moments where I'm looking at where I know that's helping me be healthier. I didn't love myself for a while. And now being in a place where not only do I love myself, but I think I'm willing to receive love and then also give love to someone else is healthy. It's the healthiest I've been in a long time. If I really want to say ever.
That's
the fact that you acknowledge it is the key.
Yeah.
You see it.
Absolutely. And I have to shout out Pastor Stephen Furtick for these last 2 weeks. He's been talking about, he was talking about, the plans that we have. And you made me think about this because you were talking about, you're always looking at those future plans, right? And he's been talking about getting in the presence. Now, of course, he's talking about the presence of God, but what you also made me think of is your own presence, right?
Seeing yourself.
And seeing yourself in each moment of every day versus having to focus on the goal, the future goal so hard that you're missing, right? You're missing what's happening.
You're so tunnel vision sometimes that you're missing the space you're actually in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another book, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but the author talks about enjoying the journey, being present for every moment in the journey. Because, listen, the goal is out there, right? You're going to get to it. But what it takes is everything that you do every single day to help you get there. So it's like, why not enjoy it along the way? So you made me think about presence because he's been preaching about that. Like, take those moments every day and just be present with yourself, right? Because that's what it takes to really be healthy, to really tap into every facet of your life, right? To be able to say that, emotionally, I feel good. I'm coming with the right energy. I'm receiving the right energy, right? And I'm putting the right energy out there. Mentally, I feel good. My mind is clear. And when it's not, I know how to tap into the things that will help me get there. Right? Every single moment we have to be present, with God and for ourselves in order to really, really live healthy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think one of the practices, and me and you joke about it a lot. One of the practices, or protective mode, I'll say, for myself, because I know I will go above and beyond for anything and everybody. But then that also means that I have not said enough no's to protect my peace or my space or whatever. So early on, I started saying no all the time. No for everything. Nope. Will you do this for me? No.
But then she does it anyway.
No. And it's almost like a license to allow myself or to remind myself, okay, it's your choice.
Yeah.
You can say no and you can choose to do it anyway. Or you can say no and it just be no.
Right.
So it comes with consistency.
And here's the thing, no being no, you need to be able to accept when no is no.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it is happening so often and I have my options. Because for me, a lot of those things that make me peaceful or strong or settled or comforted comes from freedom and options. So when you take those away from me, I got to figure out what I'm going to do when I already know what I want to do. But now I've been robbed of the option or been robbed of the choice.
So here's the thing. We're going to flip that on its head, too, because nobody can really rob you of the choice to do anything.
Well, no. I'm not saying they got to rob me of the choice. But yeah, I know I'm gonna have to refute that because depending on the situation, there may not be. I could choose not to do anything, but if my choice is to be involved and to do something in it, and you have changed the parameters where I can't, my other choice is not to be in it. But that's not really what I want. If I really want to do it, if I really want to work for this company, if I really want to work on this project, and you've created a situation where I can't, I'm going to have to be an adult because that's how we've grown and say, well, I can't do everything. Everything doesn't go my way. It does not mean it was my choice or that I wanted it.
Yeah.
So,
but then in those instances, and we have to close out the show, but in those instances, I would challenge you to say, okay, how do I create this for myself? Or how do I'm gonna say it this way, infiltrate, right?
Or recreate the option.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Infiltrate or recreate, right? But listen, everyone, you have heard it here. We were talking about championing your health.
Yeah.
And you heard the aspects that we were talking about doesn't fit the norm of
Right.
what you think about when you think about health and wellness.
It's more than a weight and a dumbbell.
Absolutely. It is not just the physical. So we want to make sure that you are tuning in both to FEM Talk on Tuesday evenings at 8:30 p.m. on Facebook, on YouTube, and on E360 TV Network under Trajectory TV. And right here on The Whole Living Show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday evenings, all on those same channels. You can find us there. Tune in. We will see you next week. And as always, we love you out there. Take care.
Thank you.